Welcome to session 2 of the Cognero training, Publishing Products. The agenda for this training will be an introduction. We will discuss copy editing. We will talk about and give you a demonstration on flipping flags and an important step, testing product functionality. We also discuss exports and get into Zilla and Respondus. Also some ideas for troubleshooting and some resources to help you. So when we are ready to publish, the first part of the workflow is complete. We're going to be moving on to the next stage of the workflow. So we've already completed this part. Everything has been finished and checked off our list. Now we're going to move into the second part, the remaining steps of the workflow when we go into IPS and change the IAC and all these steps that are highlighted here. So when we're in the copy editing process, we want to make sure that we prepare. The content developer and the subject matter expert finalize authoring of Cognero Test Bank. They determine if there's a need for Cognero Test Bank copy edited. We're going to transmit to production. The CD does an IPS to production, routing the the production director and manager. The content product manager assesses the schedule and level of copy editing and then hires the vendor or copy editor. There will be a step to make assignments. The CD assigns the CPM, the vendor and copy editor project level access within Cognero. Copy editors work on the product. The schedule varies depending on the length, number, and complexity of the questions. It could take anywhere from 1 to 6 weeks. It depends, again, is it a lot of copy editing? Is it a large project? Smaller projects will be done sooner. The CD confirms the work. They will review the test bank, marks any changes and answers to any queries. The copy editor makes additional changes based on their responses and edits to the queries. And finally, the CD completes the steps in the workflow to go live with Cognero. The cost of the copy editing is approximately 75 cents per question. The exact cost may depend on the type and number of questions and the level of copy edit. So the CD should work with the production director, manager, and CPM to establish an exact budget. All right, flipping the flags. We are going to go into IPS and change the IAC and SSO workflow stages to published. We will then route the IAC to your MSA rep, indicating the IAC is published. This is informational only. There's nothing to approve. Changing the workflow stage will prompt the item master to change E1 status to ACT. Since this is a manual task, it can take anywhere between 24 to 72 hours. So don't get too nervous if it's not available right away. It takes a little bit. The change in E1 will automatically update Orca. Note if E1 is updated after 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the update won't feed to Orca until the next day. Check Data Warehouse for the most up-to-date status. To find your MSA rep, check the Who to Call list, search by discipline in column B, and find the MSA rep in column R. That has been updated a little bit, and I will give you that new information in just a second when we get into our live demonstration of this flipping the flag stage. So as I mentioned before, the MSA rep information has changed just a little bit. When you go to the Who to Call list, you're going to scroll over to the last column, column S, and the MSA rep is now called the Product Information Specialist, or also known as PIS. So you will find your discipline over on the left-hand side in specialization, and the discipline, here we are. Scroll down, so let's say we are accounting. So we're going to scroll over and see who our person would be. So it would be Michelle. So that would be the person that we would contact in order to get this done. So that's changed just a little bit. That has been noted on the Cognero workflow. So now we need to make our product live. I'm going to show you an example of flipping the flags. So we log into IPS and we are going to search for our ISBN to find the product. Okay, once the product is found, we will open that. Okay, and as you can see when I open this product, this is just an example I'm going to be using. You can see the workflow stage is set at manufacturing. So what we would need to do is to go down to the SSO Cognero and see it now says development. We would go down and change it to published. We would also do that for the IAC Cognero, scroll down and change it to published. Again, this is an example, so I'm not going to publish this product right now, but that's the step. It's as easy as that for flipping the flags. Once you do that, it's not going to be instant that it goes live. It will take 24 to 72 hours. The next thing we need to do is route it to our MSA rep, which is now called the PIS. So we would go to Functions, scroll down to Routing, and then Routing Main. Then we're going to click on the Add icon, and we're going to do Add New Routing. And we will type in and down here we can put a note, informational only. You could put no action needed. Again, this is just to let them know it's not anything that they need, that your rep needs to do. So once we've done that part, we're going to click on Add and add our rep. So we're going to click Add Participant. And then we can go down and select the person. I'm just going to pick the first person here. And that has selected our person, our rep, and we're going to send it to them. We would uncheck the required approval. It's not required, again, informational only. And we would go ahead and click Start Routing, and it would be good to go. So that's as easy as it is. Once the flags have been flipped, you want to make sure that you test product functionality. It's one of the most important steps because we want to make sure that everything is accurate before going live to the customer. So test the product functionality, very, very important. How do you do that? You're going to log into your SSO and add the Cognero IAC to your dashboard. And I will show you how that works because you want to make sure that it does come up as an actual product. So we're going to log into Cognero SSO. And we are going to add an ISBN. Let's say this is the one we just flipped, and we want to make sure that we add it to see if we can add it to our list. Okay, I tried this and it does not have any digital products, so that means that there is an issue with it. If this had worked correctly, let's see, we would have been able to add it here, and it would show up down here for us to add the product. So unfortunately, there's an issue with this, and we need to go back and find it again. Some common mistakes when the wrong ISBN is assigned to the Cognero product. Instructors will get the message you see, error signing on and error occurred processing single sign-on. Before releasing, a test of the ISBN would have failed, as you just saw, and bring the error to light. Every title in any platform in any discipline should be opened and spot-checked before and after going live. This will confirm that there aren't any algorithmic errors, but also that the initial product setup was correct, and therefore the link from SSO dashboard into Cognero is working properly. One of the other examples of common mistakes is that question sets are published and go live to customers. After completing the step, it's discovered that one of the question sets has been duplicated accidentally with the same questions in Chapter 1 and 2. If the product had been tested, it would have been discovered before going live, preventing customers from receiving the incorrect data. And once they receive that incorrect data, it's a little bit tricky because we have to backtrack and they will know that there was a mistake made. A third example, content containing algorithmic variables was revised and verified in ExamView before being imported into Cognero. The content was not checked a second time after being added into Cognero. Whenever there's algorithmic content, every question set should be opened and recalculate variables applied. Errors can occur when bringing in algorithmic content. Even if the algorithms are clean and import successfully, Cognero doesn't apply the rounding rules to a variable during import. So opening the product would verify algorithmic problems and whether or not there was a broken algorithm in that set. Everything may look fine when you open it, and that's just a double check, but you may encounter an error, and that's your chance to fix it. A fourth example, when I try to test the functionality of the Cognero by entering the IAC ISBN, I see the following screen. The product you choose does not have any digital products. That's one of the errors that we just saw. How can I add this to my dashboard to make sure it's working properly? When the product does not show up when adding it to the dashboard, it may be due to the ACMS setup. Logging in and searching the ISBN in ACMS showed no results. The ACMS setup was not completed for the product by the product assistant. Once completed, the product will show. So even if you've already done everything and flipped the flags, when you go to enter that ISBN as I did before and there was an error, the product assistant goes in and updates and does the ACMS step, everything will be fixed and it will be live immediately. we have made your lives a lot easier by allowing you access to the Cognero Content Assistant. You'll be able to export Cognero XML, Angel, and Blackboard files simultaneously. This is an example of what it will look like. Okay, and we want to make sure that we only check Cognero, XML, and Angel, and Blackboard, these first three. The bottom three will not be using. Downloading all three at the same time will be a bit slower just because you're doing all the files at once. If you did one at a time, it might be a little easier. You will log in using the super user log in the credentials for your market group. You're only going to use the super user account for this task. You will not use it for any other task. All of the information, the instructions, how to download the Content Assistant is available on the Cognero Resource Center under the Cognero Content Assistant Quick Guide. So if you need to access that, please visit the Resource Center.
This video is going to show you how to complete 2 of the final steps for your Cognero product: submitting Zilla tickets and submitting your files to Respondus. Let's talk about submitting your Zilla tickets first. The purpose of this step is to both post your Cognero exports to your instructor companion site and to post your XML files to Geyser, either for storage or for reuse in other products. So to get started, you just simply type in Zilla in your browser and log in using your network username and password. If you have any issues logging in, you can contact the Solutions Center. When you have materials to post on the instructor companion site, the first thing you'll do is click Create Issue. So since we're talking about the instructor companion site first, your project will be Instructor Student Resources, and then your issue type will be Instructor Resources. For request, you're adding new content. The default priority is 3. If you set this above 3, you may want to prepare an email to whoever this ticket gets assigned to, explaining in more detail the high priority. For asset level, select Book Resource. For asset type, you'll select Test Banks, and then Cognero LMS Exports. When you select Cognero LMS Exports, your instructor companion site will look like this. So it will break down each of the files for each of the LMS. Enter in your core ISBN, and then again in the summary field. Description: if you have any notes for the media team who this ticket gets assigned to, you can include that in this description field. And then go ahead and attach both your Blackboard and your Angel files directly to this ticket. Remember, your Blackboard files will work for Blackboard, Moodle, Desire to Learn, and Canvas, and then your Angel files go for your Angel exports. For content description, this is new, but we're recommending a short note for instructions for instructors on how to actually export and then import these files. This may cut down on some help calls that our tech support sees, so just a quick reminder to include this note for your content description, and then anything else additional that you need to have posted on the instructor companion site for description or instructions. And then go ahead and click Create. Now let's walk through submitting your Zilla quizzing ticket. A lot of the same steps here, but you'll go ahead and click Create Issue. For project, you select Quizzing, and then issue type Quizzing is auto-populated. And then start going through and selecting the information based on your unique project. So you'll know a lot of this based on your project that you're working on. If you're only storing files in Geyser, so it's not going to any other product, for quiz placement, simply select Geyser only. Keep on going through, filling in your information, your priority, the summary, description if necessary, and then attach your Cognero XML files for this ticket. And then go ahead and click Create. So your final step is to submit your Blackboard files for Respondus. There are really 4 quick steps for completing this task. You've already probably done step 1. You have your exported Blackboard files. So then you're going to go ahead and zip them into a single file and name it using this naming convention: author, title, edition. And then you'll post your zip file to this FTP site using the following login. Let's take a quick look at that. So once you log into that FTP site, you'll see a folder for Respondus, and then a folder for each of the market groups, subdisciplines, and then copyright year. And then go ahead and post your files right there. Then your final step is that you want to email Ronnie Vitullo at Respondus. Here's the email address here. For the subject line, include Cengage conversion, include the author, title, edition, and core ISBN, and then let her know the Blackboard files are posted and include a link to the FTP location. And that's it. So remember that all of these steps with some additional resources and examples are posted on the Cognero Resource Center. Thank you.